We all know about sacred gears. We all know how powerful they are, like the booster gear, or divine dividing, perhaps the true Longinus. There are many different types of sacred gears. Even though some of them are not as powerful as the other Longinus, there are some with useful abilities. So the idea came to mind. What if Issei had all sacred gears? And I know what you guys are going to say next. How is Issei going to have all sacred gears? That's not possible. True, but this is a what if, so I don't really care. And how Issei would get all sacred gears will go 100 years back into the past, where one day all sacred gears all over the globe would just vanish, just like that. This would actually set alarms with actually other factions, as they could not find any sacred gears at all. Even actually the people who possess a sacred gear found it weird that the sacred gear was just gone, just like a ghost. So for the past 100 years, no one had found one sacred gear user. Just even finding a low class type was to be considered rare, but no matter how hard they even looked, they couldn't even find one. Fast forward to the present, once Issei was actually at about of the age of 3, this is where Issei's sacred gear would have actually manifested, and surely Issei's mother and father would have been shocked. Issei's first awakening would have been gravity jail, and as soon as Issei opened his eyes, the whole surrounding of Issei's vision would have been actually 2 times heavier. As Issei's mother and father found it actually hard to stand, it was like they were being crushed by an unknown force. Soon parts of the house would have been crushed, bringing actually the whole place to its knees. It took a minute for Issei to stop what he was doing before falling down unconscious. After that, Issei's parents would have actually found out that the son would have been the one who caused it. It made them think that the son was special with powers and thought that he might be Jesus, but immediately crossed that out of their minds. They decided that their son was just unique with powers. So for the next few years, Issei would not have left the house. Issei would have been homeschooled by actually his mother, while his father would have actually tried to find ways so that his son could control his powers without hurting the people around him. But he just couldn't. The best thing he could actually think of was actually trying to keep actually Issei calm in situations that actually might actually help him in. Even though Issei was controlling his powers, he still wanted to see the outside. Now, Issei was not a prisoner in his own house. No, Issei was able to go outside, but his parents told him not to, unless they think he is ready to be around people and his ability does not lose control. So when Issei is actually 6 years old, he realized that actually he had the house all to himself. Reason was his mother and father had something to do, so they'll be out for the next 15 minutes. Issei would have been in his room reading mangas, but soon got bored. Using his powers, he would have actually made actually a shadow hand that would grab another manga from his bookshelf. But as he's reading another book, Issei would hear voices all over his room, calling out his name. This did not make Issei scared, but got him curious and started looking all over his room, even the whole house. Issei would have even used Annihilation Maker to create some even small golems to even look in the places in the house where he just couldn't. Soon the voice would have actually stopped and Issei would have went back to his room, but soon got bored and looked outside his window to see other people at the park having fun and playing with each other. Issei would have actually taken a leap of faith and decided to go outside for the very first time. Issei would use dimension loss to teleport himself in a dark alleyway. That actually was actually next to the park. Luckily, nobody saw him. Once Issei got there, immediately all the kids thought Issei was weird. Issei had this aura that actually made kids not want to actually play with him. Issei would have been sad, but soon that would have actually changed when he met actually a girl called Irina Shido who looks like a boy. But she was not scared of Issei at all. The children would have played over an hour. Issei would have actually felt somebody grabbing him by the shoulder. Issei would look to see it was his parents looking for him all over the place. They scolded him for leaving the house without telling them, but soon a man and a woman would have walked up to the Hyodo family, telling them that it was really nice for actually the son to play with their daughter Irina here. The man and woman would have introduced themselves as Mr. and Mrs. Shido, and also actually saying that they were the daughter of Irina Shido. The Hyodo family will do the same, but of course right there Irina wanted to play with actually Issei more, and Issei actually wanted to play with Irina more, and this surprised the two couples here of the Hero family, because actually now they're seeing the son is able to have great control over his powers and he's not losing control, and this is his first time being around people, so this was actually a shocker for them. A few months would have actually passed and everything was actually alright, and Issei would have actually by accidentally revealed his actually powers around the Shiro family, and this is where actually the Hiro family would have to explain about actually Issei being unique, but surprisingly to them, the Shiro family already knew about Issei, and they already knew that Issei possessed some kind of power, but they didn't know what it was here. So they would actually tell them about actually the sacred gears and the supernatural world, and this actually made it actually quite easy for the Hiro family to understand what actually Issei has and how powerful he really is. So this would actually make actually Mr. Shiro actually allow Issei to take his sacred gear training to a whole different level. He would actually allow Issei to use his sacred gear, but the sword types here, and surprisingly to him, Issei possessed all sacred gears, which he was not expecting that, as actually he was expecting Issei to probably have multiple sacred gears, but he possessed more than multiple here, like almost every single type of sacred gears, which was not up in his alleyway. So he would actually only train Issei in sword base here, and this would actually get Irina to actually take up sword practice and to becoming an exorcist quite early here. But on one dreadful day, Issei would have been staying at the Shiro family a little bit actually late, and Mr. and Mrs. Shiro would have actually dragged Issei home. And actually once actually they got to his house, Mr. Shiro instantly actually realized that there was something wrong, and sensing actually a stray devil inside the house, and he actually thought of the words. He told his wife to stay put in the car and protect Issei. So with this, he would go inside the house and he would not return for about actually a good hour. Issei got worried and he really wanted to go inside the house, but Mrs. Shiro would have actually not have let Issei left the car, but Issei would have used dimension laws and teleported himself inside the house, which would make actually her run inside the house chasing Issei. But once Issei got there, he would actually find that actually Mr. Shiro would actually be face off against a stray, but he would have actually found that actually his parents would have actually been killed, completely dead. Mr. Shiro would have actually put an end to actually destroy actually devil here, killing it for good, and he would have actually walked up to Issei, who would have been actually trying to heal his actually parents, but they were just gone, and Mr. Shiro would have actually told Issei that there was nothing that he could have done. And Issei would have been actually so sad that he would have actually gone through another awakening. But just in a moment of time, Mr. Shiro would have actually placed a seal on Issei's actually back, preventing him from actually using his sacred gears, because he doesn't want actually Issei to lose control and other factions to know about him, because that would have been bad. So with this, they would have actually taken Issei home, and once actually Issei woke up, they would have explained everything to him. Now before I continue on in the story, I need to address something. You guys probably have questions for me that you guys are probably wondering, like, if Issei had every single sacred gear, wouldn't he not lose control here? Yes, he would have lost control, but the reason why he didn't lose control is because actually of the teaching his parents taught him to keep calm in some situations here. And actually one thing that I would like to address is that actually Issei, he's not going to be a master in every single type of sacred gears, no. Because actually every single sacred gear, Issei has not even awakened all of them yet here. He knows he has all of them, but he hasn't awakened all of them yet here. And a few things is that Issei is not even human. He's not even considered to be human, because actually sacred gears changes one actually DNA here. I mean, we have the booster gear, divine dividing. We have some of these sacred gears that actually are mutation type sacred gears that actually changes the user. Issei is considered to be actually like 50% dragon in the anime because he possesses drag. Issei is considered to be not dragon nor human. He's considered to be a sacred gear at this point. Issei is just a sacred gear because actually he's been enveloped in every type of sacred gear that he is a sacred gear. So that's the one thing I actually like to talk about here. And with that, let's continue on with the story. After a few years, Issei would have actually moved on from his parents' death, and Issei would have actually trained to become actually the strongest here. Issei would have actually trained in using sword birth and multiple actually other sword type sacred gears, and Issei would have been actually extremely mastered in actually weapon type sacred gear and also hand to hand combat here. So during after the years, Irina would have actually gotten stronger too, but she would have continued her training down in England here with her father. So leaving Issei in actually Japan, reason because Issei didn't want to actually go to England to train there because actually he misses his parents so much. He decided to stay here with Irina's mother, which actually she would actually become a mother figure and helping Issei out on his training, and she became actually a great mother figure for Issei to keep him calm. And also right there, she was also actually kind of trying to get Issei and Irina together, so a few things to mention. But when we get on to the main timeline of DxD, when Issei gets into his second year of Kyu Academy, he immediately gets asked out by actually Yuma, but Issei already knows who Yuma is, as he would actually go along with this whole actually like fake athlete personality, and Issei would know she's a fallen angel. So they will date for about actually a few days before Yuma would actually ask Issei to go to a church with her. When Issei gets there, Yuma would actually close the door, and slowly she would try to seduce Issei into doing something with her, but Issei would immediately call her out that she's a fallen angel. And loads of exorcists and about 3 other fallen angels will reveal themselves and saying that they are here just to extract his sacred gears. That heck, he's a big threat. Issei would have looked around the whole room, and he would say like there's only 4 fallen angels and weak exorcists. You need more than that to take me down. With this, all of them would have actually charged towards Issei, only the exorcists, and Issei with simple martial arts would have taken them down with ease. And without little actually help of his sacred gears, there are actually 4 fallen angels would try to actually attack Issei, but immediately Issei would actually put his hands together, and Issei would say one word:
Domain expansion. Malevolent Shrine.
Just right after that, the whole group would be covered in just a darkness abyss, a void of endless darkness. With this, golden chains will wrap around the fallen angels, and then after that, holy nails will fall from the sky, impaling them. Immediately the gravity will be crushing them, not making them be able to move. And right there, before anything can even happen, Issei will be floating above them, with his hands raised up, and with this he would say one word: from actually heaven and earth, I alone stand as the sacred one. Before right there, a large spear would crash land on top of them, killing them instantly. After that, Issei will walk out of the church with not even a scratch on his body. Before anything can happen, just 3 black figures will actually appear right behind of him and saying if Issei was okay. Issei would actually just look and he would say like, nah, he's actually all good here. And pretty much right there, they don't need to worry about actually the exorcist and the fallen angel, because he's already taken care of all of them, which surprises the 3 people, but they were actually glad that actually Issei was okay. One of them being Irina will reveal her hoodie and actually saying that actually their job was to pretty much actually see what was the whole problem, but Issei said like, nah, I'm actually all good here. So with this, the group will end up leaving, but before anything can even happen, right, there will be actually a stray white cat that will be watching the whole thing, which will be Konoko's actually little actually familiar. Now, 2 days would have actually went by, and Issei would have been actually called by the student council and the ORC, and Issei right there will go to actually the place where they asked him to go, and there he will see actually the whole devil group. And this is where actually Gasper would be revealed here, because actually, remember, Gasper doesn't have a sacred gear, so there's no actually point of actually them sealing Gasper away. And plus Keeper's there, but he doesn't even have the sacred gear, so the group is pretty much weak, remember. So with this, they will actually kind of like question Issei about the whole fallen angel thing and the whole exorcist, and Issei said like, it was actually pretty much all good here, and like, they were offered Issei to join actually their parade, but Issei said like, nah, I'm actually all good here. So with this, they would end up leaving Issei alone, and like, with this is actually kind of where actually we will have actually the Riser arc, but like, let's be for real, this doesn't go good for Ray's Grimmery. With no Issei there, and with no Kiba, and also Gasper who's there, who doesn't have that Sacred Gears, Ray's team is gonna lose, and there's no way that actually you guys can actually say how Issei will help. Issei does not help. Remember, Issei is raised in a Christian household, exorcist. Like, his whole actually motive is becoming stronger and executing actually stray devils, or actually the stray actually exorcists, whoever actually defiles actually the peace of the land. So what business would he have to save Rias? So yeah, Rias ends up actually losing, and then after that she ends up running away, because actually in the original actually anime here, Sir Zex actually did prepare the Griffin for actually Rias to escape. So Riz would take this chance to escape and eventually becoming a stray to the whole Devil Society, and she has nowhere else to go, but she's thinking that, wait, I can pretty much stay or somewhere actually like ask Issei Hiro to help her out here. So that's what she does. Issei will get contacted by Ray's Grimmery to meet her at this place. So with this, Issei would, and she will immediately tell the whole thing to Issei. And Issei is not like a bad guy. Issei doesn't hate all devils, even though he's been raised in a like an exorcist household here. Issei right there basically is an honest person. That's in his name. That's who Issei really is. So of course he's gonna actually just help actually her out. So with this, he will actually give her protection of like, yeah, sure, you just remain in this town, like, yeah, nobody's gonna actually harm you, so whatever. So once actually Devil does actually pull up to the town, yeah, it doesn't end well. Issei will just eradicate them before anything even happens here, and like, that's pretty much it. And then after this, we will pretty much have actually the Kokobel arc, and the Kokobel arc goes a lot differently here. Remember, Ray's group is weak on this, and also right there, there's no actually Sacred Gear for actually Kiba, so he does not get his balance breaker. But Kiba does go on a revenge here, so he would actually try to get revenge, but he is not gonna actually get far here. The Exorcist group would actually come, and they would actually kind of like try to help out, but also Issei is here, so this will be really quick. So actually once Kokobel reveals himself, Issei ends up fighting Kokobel. Now Kokobel will be at the school, waiting for actually the Devil Kings to arrive, but it turns out to be Issei all alone. Kokobel will actually ask who is he, and Issei will just say like, I am the Sacred One. Just Kokobel would have just laughed and say like, the Sacred One, who are you? The almighty at the priest? The almighty at the angel? God? Issei said like, nah, I'm actually him. You're cooked. With this, he would pretty much actually evoke actually his true Longinus spear. This would be frightening for Kokobel, but nah, Issei topped it all off with actually the booster gear, divine dividing, and then more actually of the sword burst here would actually just annihilation maker. Bro, man is ready for war. With this, Kokobel is like, ah, nah, bro, I'm gonna deal with you right now. So with this, he will end up fighting Issei, but it's not even actually a fight. Issei will actually boost himself 50 times before throwing the spear. The spear would actually grow in size and more powerful before impaling Kokobel, before actually, you know, like, blowing himself up. And the Annihilation Maker would take care of actually his actually 3 dogs, so that puts the whole end to the Kokobel arc, and we will have the Peace Treaty arc. Now, a few things I would like to mention in this arc. Number 1 is that Volley does not have Albion here. So this means actually Volley will not betray the group, and he becomes Azazel's right hand man here. Another thing is actually God's death is not revealed, so actually the 3 exorcists here, which consist to be of actually Irina, Zenobia, and Ossia, they do not find out about God's death here. So pretty much they have no idea about actually the All-Father. And another thing is right there that Gasper is not sealed inside actually the room. He's here with Reyes Grimmery, so there's no need for the Chaos Brigade to capture Gasper. As the meeting is actually taking place, some of them will be waiting for Issei, because pretty much Issei took actually part in some of these big events here. So pretty much actually Issei will be arriving late. And remember, Issei is somewhat actually Satoru Gojo doing his own thing. So once actually the peace treaty is attacked, Issei shows up with Albion and also Dreg combined together, and with this he'll be able to take down right there the Chaos Brigade and also actually capturing here, putting the whole actually end to actually the whole little actually fail at the assassination. And this is where Xxavier would get actually interested in Issei, because he sees that Issei possess not just one, not two, but multiple sacred gears here, and this will shock everyone because actually that was not possible, because sacred gears was seen to be legendary here, and Issei possessed each and every single one of them. So Xxavier would actually invite Issei to come to Grigori so he can test him, but Issei would actually refuse. After this, we would actually not really have some of the actually other arcs here. I mean, the training arc would not really happen. The actually whole actually like North faction would still happen, but Loki would still attack, but it would be handled by Issei. The whole Deodora event won't even happen because actually Reyes is now part of actually the Devil World now, and Issei is now part of Reyes Grimory's actually parade, so none of that would actually happen. The whole big actually event that would happen would be actually the Kyoto arc. Once the group makes it to Kyoto, original from actually the anime, the group would actually get attacked by the yokais here, but immediately they will actually sort things out, and also the hero faction will show up here. Now, the hero faction is weak in this because actually they do not have the sacred gears, so they will be actually not that much of a big threat, but the bloodline makes it actually them to be powerful, so consider that actually somewhat actually of a big threat, but at the same time they don't stand a chance against Issei here. So the hero faction is taken care of, and Issei actually saves Yasuka, and this is where Sun Wukong would show up, and he will notice Issei's latent potential, and this is actually where he will offer Issei to train under him, and Issei would actually take this actually exception, of course. Sun Wukong would have actually taken Issei Hyodo to the Buddha faction to begin his training, and Sun Wukong training does help Issei to improve. This would actually help Issei draw out his latent potential here and mastery over actually the sacred gears that he has. And I'm not talking about actually just actually like the booster gear and divine dividing or the true Longinus. No, Issei has a great mastery over actually 50% of the sacred gears that he has, and all of those 50% are considered to be almost to be actually original like Longinus class, because actually how Issei is using them. So with this actually, this would actually get Indra's curiosity, and realizing that Issei possessed all sacred gears, he would be a little bit threatened and also frightened by his power. A few months would have actually passed, and actually the Chaos Brigade would be actually struggling here. It's not because actually they actually are low in numbers, no, it's because actually they don't have the power capable of actually going out or committing that plan. Reason because in the original anime they had sacred gear users to do that, but now they don't here. All sacred gears are on Issei, so they cannot actually pretty much actually like get Issei to join their side. It would be impossible, but they have a plan. They could kidnap him and just extract his sacred gear, but that's gonna be impossible for him to do. So they will actually devise a plan. They may not be able to kill him, but they could seal him away, and this is what they would do. So for the past few months, the Chaos Brigade would go undercover. They would go under the dark, and they would devise a plan on sealing Issei Hyodo away.